show you how to make a brush. Been tying quite a few flies like this lately and put quite a few of the different ones that I tie using a brush on the website. So I'm going to quickly show you how to make a brush today and use some simple products to do so. First thing is we're going to take ultra wire. I've got chartreuse here, really doesn't matter. You can use green, blacks, but for me thus far ultra wire has been the easiest to use. So we're going to start with the wire here. I've got a brush making machine my buddy Frank made for me, so that's what I have. There are lots of those out there. You can buy them, you can make them, but we're going to attach the wire to one side like that. Pretty simple stuff. Clip off your tag and leave the wire stretched out. Now we're going to bring the table up. Put your table arm in. I want the wire nice and taut. And what I've been doing is I've been taking some of this Tulip glow in the dark fabric paint. Other people make these brushes, they don't use paint, but for me I found that it works the best. I just run a little bead right down the ultra wire from one side to the other, and then I take the back of my spoon and simply make sure that I go right down that wire, and now it has a coat of fabric paint or otherwise glue that's going to help the fibers stay in place. That's the first thing. Okay, the next thing is you got to have your fibers. I've got, as you can see here, Steve Farrar's Flash Blend. This is gray. I'm making a shad, a bait fish imitation. There's also bleeding gray. You can buy these again in lots of different places. This is by far my favorite. So Steve Farrar's Flash Blend. And we're simply going to just pull out about as much as we want, which would be about maybe 1.5 inches out of the package, just like it was a popsicle, and we're going to cut those fibers straight across. Very simple process. That is going to make about one brush right there. Put the extra aside. Now important part is getting this spread out. So let's make sure that as we lay it in the middle, and we start to feather these fibers out across the entire top so that they're even. We don't want a big clump, because then that the wire tends to bind around it, doesn't do its job right, and they will pull out, and then that doesn't do the brush any good. So we're going to continue to lay these out on here, as you can see, trying to make sure they're pretty even right in the middle, and that looks pretty good. Now we're going to take our wire, run it back over the top, attach it back to the other side of the machine here, and start to put a twist on it. At that point in time, now I'm going to drop the table, and there's what the beginning of the brush will look like. Mine is done by hand, so this is going to take just a minute to do, but you can kind of see now that it's doing a good job of twisting those fibers and locking them in place. And they make these in a lot of different formats. A couple have big pneumatic wheels, others use a drill to hurry this process along. Really hasn't bothered me any at all to do it this way. Just takes a few extra turns of the wrist. Now I've watched a lot of this, taught myself how to do it. I just keep going until the wire itself breaks, and it is my hope, in fact, that the wire will break right over here on this side, somewhere right here. If that's the case, then that's what will happen here in just a minute, and it did. So now we have our brush. We simply clip the other end. That's what the brush looks like. I leave that alone for about a day. Don't touch it. I've done several today. There's one in a darker gray, another one in kind of a little darker shade, and then another one in a lighter shade. But I'll leave these 4 brushes alone, let them dry, and then I will run the back of my grapefruit spoon with a piece of Velcro over the brush and basically scruff out any of those fibers that are wrapped up around there. And from that point in time, then you can make, probably depending on how big your fly is, but at least 2, maybe 3 out of that brush right there. And you can follow those directions as you want to. Looking on one of my other videos on how to tie a deadhead minnow, or how to tie a crayfish pattern using the same concept. Now the beauty is you can make these brushes pretty cheap, and you can make them in a wide variety of colors, every color under the sun. I'm kind of fond of the silvers, the gray, all the shad colors for bait fish, and I've even been putting some orange in with a little bit of green to try to make represent a fly that would look like a sunfish, or a whole wide variety of bluegill and bream that are out there in the waters right now. So there you go. I think that's a simple concept. Find a machine, buy the machine, make the machine, have your buddy Frank make one for you. Anyway, I think you'll like this pattern.